AM 970 WSTX presents Straight Talk with Redfield. Now here's your host, Senator Holland Redfield.
Well, good afternoon. This is your host today, the not-so-Senator Holland Redfield, Doug Canton, sitting in on behalf of Holland Redfield. Right now, we've got some guests in the house, and, for me, it's kind of like a fairy tale in the sense that we go to the movies, we're accustomed to going to the movies, but we never really think that much about us making the movies. Well, hey, we've got a lot going on here in St. Croix, and we got some movie making going on here in St. Croix. Some, auditions for people to become stars. I just didn't get the call. Otherwise, hey, I would have been there. But we're going to have some serious down-to-earth talk. And with no further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce my guests in whatever order you choose, and go ahead and let the public know who you are, and then we'll get into what we're doing here.
Good morning, St. Croix. My name is Peter Sagnia, and I am the director for the movie That Which Is Needful.
And good afternoon. My name is Tyler Olson, and I play Willis Bradford in That Which Is Needful.
I'm Sayeeda Carter, and I play Stella Richards.
All right. Okay, so we've got a movie.
Yes, sir.
We've got a director, we've got stars, and we're going to have a very interesting conversation today. And first of all, if you could just give us a little bit of background as to how this went from an idea to whatever it was in the medium to now a movie.
Sure. Okay, well, That Which Is Needful was originally a stage play that I wrote about 5 years ago, and we did it in St. Martin. And I turned it into a screenplay, and I said, you know what, I think we should do a movie. And while I've been here on St. Croix, I just put out a casting call and got some positive feedback from some great actors that are on this island, such as Colin Crusoe, Tyler, who's here with us, and the wonderful Sayeeda Carter, who is here with us also. And so it kind of, just like I mentioned earlier, it snowballed from there, and we was able to pull that off in about a month, actually, of filming. Month of filming it took.
All right, fantastic. All right. So give us a little sneak preview of what the movie is about.
Okay. You want to tell us what's about?
Sure, yeah. Well, considering who I play one of the brothers in the movie. Essentially, we inherited a company that our father gave us because he passed away, and it has to deal with, problems on the island, the closing of the Havensa refinery. Our company's just not making it, and we're trying to get things back on track. Whether how we do it is quite different. I want to go about it the right way. My brother has, different ways about going about how to bring the business back on track. And so, there's that problem there, and, the drama inside our company itself.
All right. Fantastic. That's the most important thing for this movie, and when you told me about it, for me, is that people can relate.
Right.
People can relate.
Absolutely.
It's I like Star Wars, but Star Wars can't happen here.
Yeah.
In the context of we're not out there in space, but
absolutely.
But definitely the topic around this is
and I think when the whole process of the planning for the film, and of course, we were here when the refinery closed down and the economic impact it had on the island, and so I just thought that tying with the actual film, we actually made the island part of the character. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't just scenery. We filmed some beautiful scenes on the island, but we wanted the island, St. Croix, to actually be part of the character of the film. And so, with the refinery closing, it kind of tied in well with the story, and so it kind of worked well for that.
All right. And in terms of the filming, what type of staffing did you use? What type of resources did you use? What did you? No, seriously.
The dreaded resources word.
What did you find here? What did you have to bring in if it wasn't here? Just give an idea of your journey, because it was a journey.
It was exactly. I mean, I think this is my third feature film that I've done over the last 5 years, and over those years I've accumulated some, camera equipment. I've invested in my craft, so to speak, and so I brought that here with me. I did not have a team though. So I ran into a gentleman called Kendall Jones, who's a photographer. So he was able to bring his lighting skills to the team, and then a friend of mine, Corey, who's a member of my church actually, and he used to be a the fire chief here. And so he kind of helped us with the boom operating and so forth. So we was able to get a core group of people from the technical perspective, and so we was able to just pull it off.
All right,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Peter is very crafty about finding people to do his bidding.
You have to be. You have to be.
It's quite amazing.
Yes, yes.
You know, and part of the challenge is finding those folks with an open mind toward making something happen.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
too often folks can tell you why something can't get done.
Exactly.
What the problem is,
Right.
it's like, hey folks, okay, been
Right.
there, done that. Let's
Yeah.
move on. So what's the solution?
Yeah. Well, the solution for me is that it's going to get done.
Yes.
I want to say I don't take no for an answer. There's always a way around something. You know, when somebody says no, okay, well, let's figure out a way to get it done. If we
Yeah.
have to modify some things, whatever. So that's just been my mindset, period. And
Okay.
so just getting these, amazing actors and the group that we had, it just made things a lot easier,
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So now, in terms of the movie, at what stage are you done? It's all finished, and
Yeah.
there's going to be a debut, a opening, a screening,
Oh,
trailers.
yes, we are
Okay, well-
having our premiere of
Red
this
carpet affair.
Thank you. Red carpet affair on January the 22nd and the 23rd at the former Good Hope School, which is in Frederiksted, which is the James Savage Theater. So yes, as Sayeeda mentioned, she's looking forward to put on a nice outfit and show everyone how wonderful she is. And it's a red carpet event. We're going to take some pictures, and we're going to have a short Q&A afterwards, so people are going to ask the cast some questions and different things. So it's going to be nice.
All right.
It's going to be very nice.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I had a question, and it just it went from me just that quick.
Mhm.
Now, so is there, you have a flyer or anything? for this?
Yes. Well, I've got a big poster for that.
Well, okay. Well, if you got
some.
something that you can email to me,
Oh, yeah,
that would be
absolutely.
great.
Absolutely.
Because I would be one of your folks out there who, from Facebook or whatever
Okay.
else, is going
Awesome.
to be putting it out there to make sure that people know. 'Cause
Appreciate that.
I think that's really, now I believe I heard something about, is it on the radio already?
They're announcing it actually today.
Right.
from
Okay, I know I
different radio
heard something.
stations.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Okay, well that's fantastic. So
Yeah.
through WSTX and whatever other medium you choose, we'll
Yes,
make
sir.
sthat
Thank you.
the word gets out.
I
You know,
appreciate that.
and
Thank you so much.
so when you all knock Star Wars out of first place,
Wouldn't
Yes,
that
sir.
be nice?
That'd be great.
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
all right.
Mhm.
Well, you've been here on St. Croix, and I did a interview recently. Call it an interview. I call it a conversation.
Yeah.
With someone, and we were kind of up in the forest and the scenery and everything. And this is a beautiful place with plenty of inspiration
Sure.
for art in
Mhm.
general, whether it be the painted art or any other style, pictures, video, the whole nine yards. So
Right.
I'm glad to hear that that things are happening like this. But were there any particular challenges? I know, well, one, you had to pull a team together, and
Yeah.
of course the actors were just there.
Yes.
But were there any particular challenges that you had in the process of pulling this off? Like you would call, like, the bumps in the road that you smoothed out.
I think, the bumps in the road was like a couple of places that we wanted to shoot, and again, you have to run through these hoops and all this kind of red tape to try to get permission, for a simple shot, which is, again, like you said, when you're trying to, I think I intentionally wanted to put St. Croix in the film as a character and not just film inside, because you can film inside and anywhere and just can say it was filmed in a
On
particular
St. Croix,
right.
right.
But I wanted to use specific locations. We went to South Shore Road, I think, where we filmed the old scene with
That's
the
one of my
police.
favorite scenes.
You want to talk about that scene? And,
Yeah, that was not only is South Shore Road's beautiful, but I got pulled over by a cop tons of times. That was just a lot of fun. I mean, working with Dean there, enjoyed that whole corner. The whole drive there is beautiful, and everybody's familiar with that road. So when you see the movie, you can be like, "Hey, I drive to work that way. That's my spot."
Yeah. So we did quite a few, and I think with Sayeeda, you want to tell us about your character you played?
Well, I side with the bad brother. As a matter of fact, I make him worse. And I really, it was a challenge for me as an actress because I have only ever done stage. So I had a big, serious learning curve, and Peter really helped me through that. And Stella is dubious, and she's definitely deceitful, tells a lot of lies. So it was a departure from my real personality. And, you know, but it was really tremendous fun because of the level of professionalism that Peter brings to the table. Haven't been in a film before, except some friends, like student films when I was living in New York, but Peter, I can't imagine a more consummate director, a more consummate film professional, just pushing us and giving us that extra edge so that we would look good. And you know, it was tremendous work in some ways, even though it was a small role, just doing something over and over again until you can find the right exact take or the positioning of your hand. And there's so much to learn, and it was great for me to learn all of these things because I'm a theater teacher. So, but I didn't really know much about the film aspect of things. So now I can tell my students more. Peter was able to then come in and work with my students and produce a brilliant PSA for the village about underage drinking. So, you know, it's a great relationship built here, and, you know, things to continue. Being a Virgin Islander, just pushing the agenda on more interesting things happening, things that the youth can find careers from and get involved with. So it was an absolute pleasure. She's really sexy, which, I mean, doesn't necessarily fit me. I don't feel that way.
That's a matter of opinion.
You are a smoldering temptress.
All right.
Okay.
So
I don't know what's wrong with her.
the smoldering temptress that Stella is, you know. I'm trying to get up to that in my real life, you know. Except without all the lies and deceit. So
I hear that.
but it was a great fun and great cast. I had acted with some of them previously on stage, especially my old 8th grade English teacher, Mr. Dean Roberts, and it's just been a good experience, and I'm hankering now to do the next one.
All right, fantastic. Okay. Well, we're going to be taking a little break, and then we'll continue down this very interesting path. Maybe the Temptress has some more to say or with the other folks. Okay.
Listen to Straight Talk with Redfield online at WSTXAM.com. Get ready to call in at 773-0490. Straight Talk with Redfield will be right back on AM 970 WSTX.
All right, we're back on Straight Talk, the shot heard around the world. 773-0390, 773-0490, WSTX AM 970. Of course, if you have the TuneIn app, you can always pick us up on your smartphone as well as through the internet on your smartphone, computer, or any other device. One of the other locations you can find us on the net is WSTXradio.com. And we're here talking about movie making on St. Croix, as close to home as you can get. And we've got all kinds of characters, real life and in another life. Coming alive on the stage at the former Good Hope School in Frederiksted, in what used to be the gymnasium, and also transformed into a stage for many events. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm glad that Holland Redfield wasn't here today. Holland, you hearing that? And chances are, if I wasn't listening to his show, I would not have heard this this exchange here today. But in terms of local support in the Virgin Islands, you have any connections, interactions with the Department of Tourism?
Silence, as you said. No, but there's a lot again, and I was writing my, the people I have to thank when I do this thing next Friday, And the list kind of just expanded because it's really a community that has come together to, you know, to pull this off. I mean, Tyler has so many friends and connections. When we needed a car, Tish, you know, she had a friend that we needed a car, a nice car for him, which was for your character.
It was a nice car.
And she just borrowed her, you know, loaned us her car without any charge. And so many people have done that, you know, throughout the course of the film. And again, like I said, that's what sort of helped drive this along. And even at this point, you know, you said you heard it on the radio this morning. The owners who owns the different radio stations, they just decided to donate airtime for us. So I couldn't afford to do that, naturally, to say take out the money out of my pocket to do that. So
Not yet, but abundance is yours.
abundance is mine, yeah. When I say that, I didn't have the money to do that, but they just, you know, donated that time. And
what you know that we call it was a grassroots call it.
A grassroots call. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, you know, in the process, just put Department of Tourism on your little checklist.
Yeah,
here
we
as
have.
far
I
as
invited
how to
the commissioner, Senator Commissioner Doty. So
Doty,
she's
yeah.
just going to be off island, so she won't be able to attend. But she did, you know, show her support and wished us the best for that.
That's okay. She has her representatives. They can be there.
Okay.
They can be there.
All right.
Okay. Now that's the
Push
bad-
that, Canton. Push that.
You know.
Handle up on that, Canton.
Yes.
No, but this is the way is the way you do it.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is that this is to me
Yeah.
important to St. Croix.
Right.
So in that context, they need to know
Yeah.
what's going
I
on.
agree. I totally agree.
Because we've got folks passing legislation that takes care of the big boys. Well, hey, what about the other boys and girls
Yeah.
that are out here doing something? Maybe we can have a homegrown industry
Yeah.
in movie making, film making, and who knows? We might have the Oscars and the Emmys and whatever, and they'll be calling
Absolutely.
some names straight out of St. Croix.
It is
Why
possible.
not?
All
That would
right.
be fabulous.
All right.
It's doable, and the talent is here. And
All
I can
right.
say that firsthand, working with these actors. And
We can take it to the indie films, and I can't recall the other name of the production where they rate films that
Right.
aren't necessarily.
I'm trying to get to Sundance.
The Sundance.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. And this is where we have to be oriented, because
Yes, sir.
it may be out of reach in terms to say that it's the first step. It might be out of reach, but it may be the second or third or fourth step.
Correct.
So
Absolutely.
it's just another part of the process
Absolutely.
in getting where we're trying to go.
I agree with that. sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, good.
Yes,
You know,
sir. Yes, sir.
you know, you there with this, yes sir. You know, you make me feel like my father
You're
here.
Senator, yes, sir.
No. I'm just saying that this is something I've never gotten accustomed to in that
Really?
context. Seriously,
Oh.
because when somebody says yes sir, I'm thinking like, where's my dad?
I call everyone. It's just
I know.
disrespect.
I know.
everybody. Yeah.
It's a term of endearment, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have military background. That's how I tend to
Right.
be very heavy on respect also
Yes, sir.
in that context. So
Absolutely.
but it's still strange, you know. And then you go into schools and good morning, Mr. Canton, and it's like, Mr. Canton, I'm looking around you.
Right. Yes,
Yeah, well, that's what makes it good in that sense that it's based on the relationship and not any artificial hierarchy and
Absolutely.
all this other good stuff. Well,
Absolutely.
you know, the floor is yours. Whatever else you want to share with me in terms of this experience, and
What was a great experience for me was again a community event. We had Jan Hart and Deborah Phillips who's helping us put this on at the theater. Jan Hart works with the youth theater at CCT, the theater. So she supplied us with 2 child actors. We have 2 children, 2 child roles in the movie, and she supplied us with some great actresses,
Yeah.
Josie Calhoun and Kaliani Sunderham, I think her last name is, and they were amazing. And again, it speaks of the talent that's here. And again, sometimes we don't have to wait for people from the outside to come and validate. You know, we just have to prove that we can do it. You know what I'm saying? And then put ourselves out there. I don't believe we have to move to Hollywood. We can bring whatever we have.
we have
here.
our own Hollywood.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
have something they want here.
Exactly.
in that context.
Exactly.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. There is a lot of talent here.
Yeah.
And the challenge is coming up with forums and venues that cater to that talent.
Right.
You know, and in that context, that's why I was asking about the theater at Complex. I
Yeah.
have young lady at Central High. Central High is my alma mater, and it's like I got to figure out how to get you over to Central High. But anyhow, you know, it's just one of those things that just isn't enough.
Right.
In a sense, I'm not complaining because we have,
Sure.
but there just isn't enough
I
along
understand.
those lines. And I say that you have theater as one example. The other area you hear about it, is the fact of technology.
Mhm.
We have to start looking more at where the
Sure.
jobs are.
Right.
All right,
Absolutely.
and what you're doing is a kind of an example of a non-traditional where the jobs are.
Right.
If we train
Sure.
to
You train,
the
absolutely.
job.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, on that level, working with Peter was a definite eye-opener for my students, because in addition to doing that which is needful, when that was over and that was fully edited and his time opened up a bit, he was approached by the village to do a PSA, and he, contacted me. My students came out, auditioned, and then that was done. Like, the timeliness in which he works, the tirelessness of getting things done is really tremendous. And the kids were blown away. In their first month of a drama class, the first drama class Complex has had in over 8 years, 7 or 8 years, they were on television. Like, they were coming on as the trailers before movies started right at Sunny Isles. So that themselves and their peers would sit down for a Hollywood movie and they'd see themselves on the screen. And it was tremendously empowering when they would come, Miss Carter, we been on, and it gave me chills at the potential that's out here. And the only reason that we have a drama class now is because for the previous 2 years I just had a club and I just kept plugging away, and I would try to produce a show, and I would produce a show, and the show would be well received. So then the outgoing principal, one great thing that he did was he said, well, do you want to have one class? Because I'm actually a public speaking teacher. So I teach 2 sections of public speaking and now 1 section of theater, of drama. So it's interesting, when we had our production in December, I looked over at the new principal, who was just blown away by the tremendous work that our students did, from sound design to lighting to stage design to costumes. And we kind of have like a relational approach, because my costumes were borrowed from Eileen at CCT, and we're all sort of in this together. And my students were just blown away at the success. The audience was riveted by the experience, and at the end of the day they said, maybe this is something I could do as a living. I really enjoy this. One young man who was tremendous with his sound cues, he was like, I want to learn how to do that whole board and that thing and put it, wow, I like this, and he searched online and found the sound cues he needed, and we're doing another play in April. I need a script right now so I could start looking for my cues, So they're turned on. And you have to take the time as the adults in these children's lives to turn them on to something. So a lot of them are like, I come into your premiere, I want to see, and I'm like, oh God, embarrassment. But at the end of the day, getting young people involved, getting not even only young people, but there are a lot of people who haven't found their direction career-wise, who could learn this.
The fire is lit.
Yeah.
And it's spreading.
That's amazing as she's talking. That's exactly when I was their age, at 15, 16 in school, that fire being lit, and it's like, wow, this is what I want to do. I mean, of course, life takes you in different courses, and I ended up going in the music route for 20 years, and then just coming back full circle to do what I really love. It's incredible.
All right. Well, I definitely look forward to seeing the movie, and things come together in interesting ways. Public speaking, theater. You said you didn't have a theater class for over 8 years?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm not
so-
sure how long,
No,
but
well,
quite a tremendous amount of
okay.
time.
Well,
The
yeah.
last teacher was
I-
Dean.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I don't doubt that, because one of the things that happens in education is when you come to crisis and something got to cut.
Yeah.
It's the arts. The arts are cut every time.
Sports.
Yeah.
Those are the places that get cut.
Right.
And these are things that have a great impact in terms of the whole character formation that is so important. Now, and we got to understand that it goes a long ways. Now, you teach reading, writing, and arithmetic, but in the end, if you become a Denzel Washington, or a Halle Berry or whoever, the fact of the matter is, the only math you're going to be doing is how big your paycheck is, basically.
Right. Absolutely.
All right? And so we need to understand that, relatively speaking, there is tradition, and sometimes you just have to think like there is no box. Right. Not outside the box.
Sure.
There is no box in the first place. Don't put ourselves in a box.
Yeah, your potential is limitless once you get your mind to it.
Well, that's the key. And I think that growing up here, and you have certain traditional roles and jobs, and those people in those traditional roles and jobs, that's all they know.
Right.
So a lot of times we have become our own worst enemy, because some get a real job. No, it is a real job in that regard. So so we got someone calling on the line. Good day.
Yeah, good morning. I'd like to good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to congratulate you all for a gold mine you all have there, that gold mine. But science is an art, but once you keep it real, so I would like you all to keep the art that you have to what you call based on true stories. Like how you all pattern, I see you all base the first movie on a true story, in a kind of how, but keep basing on true stories, and we have a lot of true stories around here that would shock the world,
Yes, sir.
So give thanks and just keep your gold mine, pumping.
Yes,
or, moving forward,
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Give
thanks. Okay, thanks much. Okay, good.
If I can comment on what he just said there, we have true stories, and again, for me, as a growing filmmaker, you're telling stories visually. So, and I think I had this conversation with Sayeeda, because we want to do 4 short films this year. And I was asking her to write. And I'm sure there's a lot of writers that are here on St. Croix, which can utilize their giftings to write a screenplay. I mean, they may not have all the technicalities of, how to format, but there's stories that need to be told from St. Croix. And, it has to be told from a Crucian perspective. So I can write, what I like and what I like to see. I'm very sort of like quote unquote international, because I'm from England, so what I like is more from that side of the world. Whereas if somebody who's born here, they have a story to tell, the stories are universal when you think about it. So if you're out there and you want to write something, just contact us.
All right. Well, you gotta give us your contact information.
Facebook.
In the process. No, well, that's fine, but we gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're gonna take a break, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Straight Talk.
Listen to Straight Talk with Redfield online at WSTXAM.com. Get ready to call in at 773-0490. Straight Talk with Redfield will be right back on AM 970 WSTX.
All right, we're back with Straight Talk on WSTX AM 970, 773-0390, 773-0490. Of course, you can also listen to us being streamed live. If you have the TuneIn app, just put it on your smartphone and do a search for WSTX. It will pop right up, and then you can connect from anywhere in the world that has internet access. All right. WSTXradio.com also is another point of connection that you can utilize. All right. So we are talking about movie making here in the Virgin Islands, and in the course of that, we're talking about all types of people as actors and support staff and screen staff and holding the boom mic or whatever the case may be, but we're also talking about the excitement that comes with the discovery of this is how you do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, and the challenge that we face more than anything is exposure. What Ms. Carter, what you were talking about there is exposure. Once these kids are exposed, then it's like a whole new world is open to them.
Right, right.
Okay, and the exposure gives an opportunity to say, hey, this is how they do it. Oh, I'm interested in this. Oh, no, I'm not interested. But
Yes, sir.
I got really into computers after I graduated from high school. I could tell you what, at that time, they didn't have any type of computer programming here. And it's like, I felt like I missed an opportunity because going into college, that's what I should have been going in to do. No regrets about what I did do in that context, but hey, I could have done a double major or something, you know, if that was my orientation in that connection. So,
And you would never know your orientation till you get that exposure. So chalk and talk is not what's going to help, you know, continue our kids and turn them on.
all right. So, Ms. Carter, you were talking about a production that your young people did.
Yes, recently we did a play called Outcry, and we actually came to the show Arise with Ariel Hayes. We got to speak with her on this same station, and Outcry was very well received. It was controversial, and it has a more bend of a sort of edutainment as opposed to pure entertainment. It was just an alternative universe where Trayvon Martin meets Emmett Till.
Okay.
And it just talks about the awful brutality that people have experienced just vis-a-vis the black body politic in white supremacist America.
Man to man can be so.
That's it.
That's right. Okay.
So it was great. And then having known Peter from doing that, Which Is Needful, it was an opportunity for now me to link him into that. And he worked with myself and the young playwright. The playwright was here as a visiting artist, and she was only 25. And this was the 8th or 9th production of her play.
Wow.
So how do we see the documentary and this play?
That's coming up. Just give us the time to do that, Which Is Needful.
Oh, okay. No.
On the 22nd and the 23rd.
Oh, okay. I thought,
But
you had
after that,
videotaped
it's going to be made and it can be put out there because a lot of people who didn't see Outcry on either of those 2 days are infuriated because they heard about it and they want to see whatever little snippets they can see. So there are many little parts of it throughout the documentary.
Well, you know, one of the things that happens, and I say this, you've got to use every venue, and for those who feel that Facebook is everything, the fact of the matter is it's not, because you post here, 100 people post after you, and your friend
Goes
comes
down.
in and only goes down 10,
Sure.
and yours is down here at 100, so a lot of times people can miss if it's not reposted. Definitely keep WSTX in mind in terms of all of our talk shows, because one of the things that we do is we work to get the word out in the community about positive things happening in the community. So keep Ariel's show is nice, but you got to touch base with other shows because different segments, different approaches, whatever, you'll get a much broader segment of the community in touch with what's going on with your efforts. Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing Outcry, and definitely for the younger folks to see it and in larger numbers to say, hey, that could be me. When did they do that? How did they do that? And all of these questions and things that start going through their minds, because we have a lot of undiscovered talent, not to mention those who are talented and have been exposed. We have a lot of undiscovered talent, and I say that. See, hold your thought. I have a young man, and I took him to see King Derby, Camille King Derby Massimo, when he was working with his young people down at Eula Rivera School in the afternoon. And I say that this young man was doing his little piano thing, learning to play piano and everything else. But, I mean, if you could turn it into a cartoon, the ukulele jumped out of King Derby's hand over into his hand, as though somehow it was destined to be in his hand. and of course I characterize it that way because when he picked the thing up and started, it was like he already knew how to play, and it just drives home the point that you have to expose young people, because if you don't expose them, you're depriving them of the opportunity to find their true calling. And I when I go to school sometimes, I tell these kids, I say, hey, one thing you want to do in life, don't get stuck in a job you don't like. Figure out what you like. Don't worry about how much money it makes and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's great to make a lot of money, but make sure you get into something you love. And if you have to get in what you might call a boring job, make sure you have your side thing that you could say, this is my calling, and this is what I like to do. I have a family member who's an artist. Not every artist just jumps out there and gets a big contract to do all these big money things. So he's got a job, and in his spare time and his time, he does his art, and it's catching on. And maybe one of these days, I'll be going to his big debut. But this is something I don't think we can stress enough.
Absolutely.
All right. Give you another example. We've got VINGN that's created all these labs here, but the problem is that they don't have anybody to man these labs. It would be better figure out some way to come up with the money so those labs are open, because we might have the next computer scientist that's going to discover how to truly do fusion and solve so many problems in the world, but for being exposed. Being exposed. Right?
I think, this is just my take on it. I think, if you have, my mindset is just use what you have, and everything sort of comes, you know what I mean, as opposed to awaiting. Like, for example, the film is a perfect example. I mean, it was just an idea in my head. If I didn't put it out there, or just take up the one, when I did my first short film, it was just with a photography camera. And we went out there and shot it, whatever not. And then, of course, people look and said, oh, they liked it and so forth. And then it just, causes you to get excited. And it creates opportunities for everybody else. I mean, I think you said that in the interview that we did about having the opportunity here to do the film. And if you was in the mainland, there would be so much more competition.
Oh, it's very true. There would have been a lot more competition.
Right.
So much more. I probably wouldn't have got a role in your movie with the competition up there. But.
Right, exactly. So it kind of created an opportunity for Tyler to do what he loves. Because I saw Tyler in, what was the play you was in?
Barefoot in the Park, I think.
Barefoot in the Park. I went to see that play at CCT. And then put the audition out, and he was one of the first responders.
I was quick to it.
Yeah, he was one of the first persons to respond. And so, again, it gave him the opportunity, as amongst other people as well. Like I said, it was kind of amazing to see all the people that were part of the film. They've sent me emails and text messages saying, thank you for the opportunity, and I'm like, in my head, well, what opportunity are you talking about? Because it's not like we have $1 million or we have that right here, but it was $1 million to them. You know what I'm saying? It was $1 million to me to have these guys working. You know what I'm saying? So it's appreciating where you're at.
Yeah.
That's my mindset.
You have to value it, and the other thing that is all intertwined with what you're saying is you have to be resourceful. In a way that you use what you have. If you feel you need this, don't get to the point where you say, well, I can't do it without that, because once you throw in that word can't, you've already defeated yourself.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
How are we going to do it without that? That's where you have to get to.
Exactly.
Well, in the process of all of this, Ms. Carter, I want to throw out an invitation to you and your students, okay, to visit my show. But I know that my show is in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
And they're in class. Okay?
As a matter of fact, I am going to probably head back to them right now. And it's been such an excellent experience, even them vicariously through me. When they look at the poster in the classroom, they say things like, that was made here?
Well,
that happened on St. Croix?
Well,
this looks like a really professional thing. And I'm like, why can't St. Croix be synonymous with professionalism?
But I have a solution to the problem that I just stated.
Okay. You'll come to the school.
I'll come to the school. No, I don't think we're set up to do a live. Although that's a possibility at some point. I don't discount that possibility.
Okay, because we're eradicating can't from our vocabulary.
That's right.
We're not going down the can't road, because we did it in Frederickstead. on the waterfront right
Nice.
there in Bodo Park, and we did it. Okay, in that context. All right, fantastic.
Look
All
at
right.
that. Look at that.
Okay.
Wow, it looks really well done.
All right. So
Beautiful.
okay.
Oh, and my wife designed this, by the way.
She did all that?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that, so the locks on the door aren't.
This is for you, Sayeeda.
Thank you.
Okay.
Roll these up.
Yeah. Okay. So what's happening, folks, is we have a very beautiful poster that you're going to see around the island very shortly, announcing this.
It's
whole
already
movie.
out there. There's
It's
not a
already
day
out there?
that passed where someone is not like, I saw your poster.
Okay, well, I hear you. So anyhow, but to get back to where we were, I'd like to collaborate on setting up. So if we can't do it live, we can do it recorded, and then I can have the conversation
Nice.
on my program. Okay?
Wonderful.
But
I look
either
forward
which
to
way,
that.
we can make it happen.
I'll be in
Or-
touch.
Exactly. So we're going to make sure we cross-check on contact information so we can move forward accordingly and do that. Okay. Yeah. The stuff that you can see on when you go on YouTube and just do a search for Douglas Canton, you see some of the things that I've done that are pre-recorded in that regard. I just finished doing an interview with John Obafemi Jones.
Oh, yes.
Right.
That's like an uncle of mine. He's
Okay,
he's
all
the
right.
truth.
But we come back to you, use what you have, and just like the artist will look at his art 10 years later and say, I did that, should I have done this, or that, whatever. Well, the same thing in filmmaking. It's like, okay, the lighting wasn't the best, you need this and so forth. Right now I'm waiting on B&H to finally get my package here.
Okay, good.
But some lighting equipment that I'm getting. But one of the things that I found is that, U.S. Postal Service might be cheaper, but if it's time critical, go UPS. Okay, not that FedEx won't work, but I know that UPS. I got something here that ordered and didn't ship until days after the
wow.
Postal Service, but it's here because of UPS. In fact, they're probably out there trying to find me in the process. Okay, well, Ms. Carter, I know you've got to go.
Yes, I'm going back
All
to
right,
teach that
but-
said drama class.
I bet they're ready for you.
That's okay. It's Providence that you're here.
Thank
Okay.
you for having us. And
And-
everyone, please come out on the 2 days, which are Friday and Saturday, January 22nd and 23rd at the Savage Theater, and see us all as we walk the red carpet for the film That Which Is Needful.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Sayeeda.
you.
All right. Thank you. Like I said, this is kind of like Providence that you guys are here today. All right. We're going to be taking a break, and we'll be back in a little bit as we're counting down toward hopefully Holland calling in and joining our conversation, and we join in here.
Listen to Straight Talk with Redfield online at WSTXAM.com. Get ready to call in at 773-0490. Straight Talk with Redfield will be right back on AM 970 WSTX. Mark the X. This is AM 970 WSTX.
All right, folks, Straight Talk, WSTX, AM 970, 773-0390, 773-0490. And we're here discussing movie making here on St. Croix, the grassroots style.
Yes, sir.
The grassroots style, where you use what you have and what you don't, you make.
Yep.
And the rest will be provided onto you.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
And all you do is come and build it, not build it and they will come. You come and build it, okay?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk again about the movie in terms of the dates and what people can look forward to.
As mentioned, we're going to be having the red carpet premiere of the movie on January the 22nd and the 23rd at the James Savage Theater, Frederick Street, which is the former Good Hope School. I think Deborah asked me to make this clear because people get confused with Country Day. It's not at Country Day. It's at the former Good Hope School in Fredericksted. So that's where we're going to have that at 7 o'clock. Doors open at 6 p.m. Tickets are available from the cast members and Deborah Phillips and myself. You can contact me on Facebook and online also. So perhaps we can give you the link for that, I think.
Well, hey, you've got the floor. Who's stopping you?
I don't think I could retain the URL in my head. But,
but it's so funny because usually I have a monitor over there.
Okay.
Mirroring here, and
Right.
we could have been doing that. And when I
Gotcha.
got here, I said, "Oh my goodness, I should not have taken it out the car because I had it all set up and I took it out earlier."
Yeah.
But no, well, in terms of that type of information, make sure by the time you leave here, I've got whatever contact information. I'll
Yes,
put it
sir.
on my Facebook page, etc., so forth and
Awesome.
so on. But I just want to say that you have a challenge now of getting it out, and WSTX, the community-minded station, is here to help.
Thank you.
But we need the information.
Yes, sir. I will
We
get that
we
to
need
you.
the information so that we can put the word out
Great.
and make sure that we can be on board in a way to make it all the success that it can be.
Great. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Appreciate it.
Of course, anybody that's Facebook friendly, it is on Facebook. There's links all over Facebook. That Which Is Needful. There's links to YouTube. Anybody that's in the cast, we're pushing this. It's
But
word of mouth.
What should they look for on Facebook?
If you are on Facebook, look for That Which Is Needful, the
That
movie.
Which
The
Is
movie.
Needful.
He's the biggest poster
No,
of
no,
that.
no, but I understand that. But the fact of the matter is, I haven't seen it, and that has to do with your circle.
Your
of
circle
Your
of
circle of friends,
Right,
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so that is the if Facebook had a flaw,
Yeah.
that would be it's
I
weak,
totally
or
agree.
It's, weak
It's on
point.
TV as well. We have a trailer on TV which has
Channel 8, right?
Channel 8, yeah.
Well, I understand. But what I'm saying is that Channel 8, WSTX, Facebook,
Right.
they all overlap.
Okay.
And you've got to approach it that way because the fact of the matter is, I got a brand new TV, but actually, how much time have I had to watch
Right,
it? Number
right.
one.
Well, no one
I've got
can-
Netflix, so how much time do I spend watching
Yeah.
movies on Netflix?
True.
So I'm just saying that you've got
Yeah.
to make sure that you do it in a way that's overlapping.
Overlapping.
One of the things that happens is that when you're in something,
Yeah.
and in the excitement and the,
True. Very
and
true.
you believe that the rest of the world is as connected to it
Yeah, true.
as
Very
you
right.
are.
Very
And
right.
you can lose so much of the rest of the world. So I'm just
Right.
saying that in the
Absolutely.
context. That which is needful.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
And I'll use it because everything else will pop up.
Yeah.
So
Yes, sir.
I will be talking about that which is needful.
Yes.
And saying, hey, folks, I'm not being philosophical here. That's the name of a movie. Go to Facebook, check it out.
Yeah,
Google
I
on the
appreciate
internet, check it out. That which is
needful.
needful. Because everybody will come back and say, well, my pocket is needful. My gas tank is needful. My
right.
grocery list is needful. But no, folks, we're not talking about that needful.
Yeah.
That which is needful, the movie.
The movie.
Yeah.
The movie.
The movie. All right. Yeah. So that's the challenge that we face, and we're gonna get the word out because
Great.
as you use all the different avenues of media,
Yes,
okay,
sir. Appreciate that.
and as you become more familiar with our other talk host venues
Mm-hmm.
here, Holland Shares. That's one of the things that I
Okay. Mm-hmm.
have to say. Holland Shares in that context. So the greater goal is to make sure that the community is more knowledgeable.
Great.
Okay, in that sense, and I'm glad that you chose this venue to start getting the word out.
Thank you.
And next Thursday.
Next Thursday, yes, that'd be
What
great.
time? 8, 9? What,
Let's do 9 o'clock.
9
Yeah,
o'clock?
I'll do
Okay,
9 o'clock,
next
yeah.
Thursday, 9 o'clock. I'll have you over there also so
Great.
that we can cross-pollinate between all the different audiences as much as possible because this has to get out there.
Thank you.
This has to, the same thing with Ms. Carter and her class.
Sure.
We have to do that conversation with the students who are involved so
Mm-hmm. Right.
that the parents, the other people can hear the excitement in
Yes,
these
sir.
children's
Yes,
voices.
sir.
and say
Absolutely.
that next time they talk about cutting budgets,
Mm.
okay, then we could say, hey, you might want to rethink
Right.
that.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
You might want to look at the development of wholesome characters and training our young people to where the jobs are,
Jobs are,
as
yes, sir.
opposed to just putting them through a mill
Right.
where, okay, now you graduated and okay, we've met our responsibility now.
Yeah.
Our responsibility is to train them to where the jobs are.
Yes, sir.
If they want to be in something else, other than where the jobs are, then they can exercise that choice. No problem with that.
Yes, sir.
It's just that as an institution, as much as possible, we need to be outcome focused.
Yes, sir.
Not process focused, because you have a process and validate the process, but when you look at your outcomes,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it doesn't match.
Totally right. Absolutely.
One thing that's
What?
great that Sayeeda's doing, the fact that she can get with these kids, I can tell you when I was in high school, having a theater teacher like she would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I could ever be in a movie. It was something I enjoyed. It was, a knockoff class. It was fun. But I didn't know I had a passion for it until I
Right.
did a show and I came to an audition and when he cast me in this, it was like my heart opened up. I wanted to do this. I wanted to know the script. I wanted to be this person.
And I gotta say, Tyler did an excellent job. I mean, all the actors did a great job. But one thing I noticed about him was his discipline and his. I mean, of course, I don't stand for lateness when it comes to when we run a tight ship. You know what I mean? And he was there all the time, early, ready. He didn't have to be going studying his lines and he was ready, and that's one thing I gotta say, he did an excellent. So come out and watch Tyler's performance. He did an
And that's not
excellent
who
job.
I was before this, which is great.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you said that. I'm so glad. No.
It's true, it's true.
It's
Wow.
very important that you
Wow.
said that, and I expect that we're going to be getting a call in a minute. But
Okay.
I'm glad that you said that, because the child who won't clean up their room,
Yeah.
the child who waits till 1 o'clock in the morning to
Yeah.
do the dishes,
Yeah.
the child that can't seem to get ready
Wow.
to get to school on time, and,
Wow.
and so as a result, you get to work
Yeah.
on time
Exactly.
by getting them to school
Right.
on time.
Right.
You get to work late.
Yeah.
That child could be the child who the fire is lit,
Right.
and once they say, wow,
Wow.
this is what I want to do, and all of a sudden you see a transformation.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I didn't know that about you. I
No,
didn't know.
No, definitely.
But this is the thing. That same child, when you go and you talk to the you
Yeah.
about that child, is, I don't know that child. This one has been here on time. They've been
Yeah.
done their lines and otherwise been
Right.
ready to. You sure we're talking about the same child? And this is why we have to go that extra mile
Yeah.
to give our children exposure.
Yes, sir.
And this is a part of the arts that traditionally we have this fairy tale view that it happens in Hollywood.
Right. Right.
It can happen
It
anywhere.
can
Yeah.
happen anywhere.
It's good.
And the change in technology, the accessibility of things, it's just like with Avid, for instance. Avid, you used to have $100,000 to have an Avid editing system. And then you had the disruptor, Apple, come in and put in Final Cut Pro
Yeah.
at the time
Oh,
and
yeah.
just turned everything topsy-turvy,
Sure did.
but still that was $1,000 plus
Yeah.
to do it. And then it dropped down to $250, and all of a sudden now anybody
Anybody
could
can-
do linear editing and so forth and
That's
so
right.
on.
Absolutely.
And the same thing with a $50,000 camera. Now you go out and spend $300 for a camera, and
Exactly.
you can produce something that really you
Amazing.
can't tell.
Can't even tell the difference. It's
Yeah.
true.
In
Very
that
true.
context, to the average eye.
To the
Not
average eye. Yeah, that's
the
right.
Trained, no, the trained eye. We
Yeah.
understand that just
Yeah.
like high definition and
Sure.
UHD, if you have the right setup,
Sure.
you can show
Yeah.
visually a difference.
Right.
But as a general proposition, you're
Yeah.
watching a movie on a DVD or Blu-ray.
Exactly.
You don't really see
Don't
the
see the
difference unless you're in an environment that's set up
Exactly.
where you can discern the
Correct.
difference.
Correct.
And that's fine for those who want to have the perfect setup. But I'm saying that for our young people and the bean counters out there who somehow believe that to set up this type of a curriculum would incur too much cost. I did a project at a school the other day, and I taught the children about using yeah, you gotta go, Tyler.
Yeah, I gotta go. Thanks for having me in.
Okay, good.
Hope to see you at the premiere.
Yes.
Yeah,
See you next Saturday.
Look
See you next
forward to
Saturday.
it.
Friday.
Look forward to
Say
it.
Friday.
Right, yeah. But teaching them about how the use of the green screen and how it works in the
Exactly.
context of the substitution of the color for a background and so forth and so on. And they're hounding me because I did it with the 5th grade class.
Right.
And then I did a little thing with the 6th grade. But now the 5th graders and 6th graders, Mr. Canton, are you going to work with us again?
Right,
I said,
right.
well, I'm working on
Yeah.
it because the school had something different in
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
So I'll keep you folks in mind
Thank you.
in that regards also, because there's an opportunity to get around to the schools and do certain types of displays that
Yes, sir.
can trigger things in folks'
Yeah,
minds.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's I'm glad to see this happening. I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to it being a resounding success.
Thank you so
And
much.
to see the avenues and of new opportunities open up to our folks here.
Yeah.
You know, I keep saying our young people.
Mm.
Really, what's happening because of technology is that the youthfulness that counts is that's in the mind.
The mind. Yes.
In the mind.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And I say that, folks, anybody can play a role if they have the skills, the desire, and the enthusiasm.
Ready.
All right. Well, great. We're just going to do a recap. Tell us about the movie and what the plans for.
Thank you for having us again, Senator Redfield and Senator Canton. Again, That Which Is Needful, the movie, which was filmed entirely on St. Croix. Local Virgin Islanders are the cast members, and they did a fantastic job. We will be having our red carpet premiere event at the James Savage Theatre on the January the 22nd and the 23rd. That's a Friday and a Saturday at 7 p.m. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Tickets can be purchased online. I'll give Senator Canton the information. You can check on Facebook, That Which Is Needful, the movie. All the information is there. Again, you can purchase online. It's $12 in advance. It's $15 at the door. We'll have a short Q&A after the show, you know, to ask questions with the cast and the crew. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. Film's ready, and we're ready to rumble.
All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you again.
Thank you again for coming here. It's been delightful on my part.
Thank you, sir.
I hope it was equally as much so for you.
It certainly was.
And meeting Miss Carter for the first time in this venue and the discussion, and of course Tyler. And I'm looking forward to seeing the show.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you again.
Fantastic.
Appreciate it. Thank you.